Hello there, my name is Boris and today I'm going to be showing you how to implement a cookies consent banner just like this one on your website so you can be compliant with the latest regulations like GDPR. By following this tutorial, you'll be able to protect your users' privacy without saving cookies on their web browsers or using tracking codes without their consent until they click on the accept button. We're going to be using Google Tag Manager for this, so be sure that you have that installed on your website. This is the website we're going to be working on as an example, which is built with some basic HTML. But if you're using another platform like WordPress, Squarespace, or Wix, don't worry, polycookies will work on your website as well. If we open the DevTools and head to Application and Cookies, you'll see that there are two cookies being saved on our browser from the website, which correspond to the Google Analytics tracking code from our Google Tag Manager container, which is being initialized on all page views. To start our project, we're going to head over to polycookies.com, and we're going to download the zip file which contains the source code. We are also going to download another zip file from Google which will let us set the consent states in Google Tag Manager. Now that we are in the Google Tag Manager container from our website, we're going to head to the templates page, and we're going to upload a new tag template. Click on the top right corner menu, then Import, and select the consent tag file we've downloaded from Google. All the information will be filled automatically, so we'll just have to click Save, and we can close the window. Now let's head to the tags page, and we'll create a new tag and name it default consent. We're going to choose the consent tag template we've uploaded. Then we'll add a row and we'll set all the storage options as denied, except for the functionality storage, so it's granted by default. We'll now set the trigger on content initialization on all pages and save it. So to recap what we've done so far, we've already downloaded the polycookies source code, we have a Google Tag Manager container set up, we downloaded and imported the consent tag template from Google, and we created a default consent state. What we have to do now is create a new variable in Google Tag Manager. So we'll head on to the variables page and we'll create a new user-defined variable, which we'll name consent accepted. The type of variable will be a first-party cookie, and the name for the cookie will be the same as the name of the variable. So we completed item number 5 from our list, and I'm now going to move on to number 6, which is adding the HTML tag with the banner that is going to be displayed on our site. Let's create a new tag and name it cookies modal. This will be a custom HTML tag, and we'll open the cookies-model.html from our source files and copy and paste it into Google Tag Manager. The only thing we need to change right now is the link to our privacy policy page. So we're going to copy the link from our site's privacy policy page. Now, if you don't have a privacy policy already, you can search Google for a privacy policy generator. There are some free options out there. We'll set the trigger to fire on all page views, and that takes care of item number 6 on our to-do list. What we have to do now is create a new trigger that recognizes when the user clicks on the accept button. So we're going to go back to the Google Tag Manager, and on the variables page, we'll configure a new built-in variable to include click ID. Now we'll go to the triggers page and we'll create a new trigger which we'll call clicked on accept cookies. On the trigger configuration, we'll set it to click on all elements, and we'll fire it on some clicks which have a click ID equal to what we specified on our banner's accept button and save. The next thing we have to do is create a new tag for Google Tag Manager to recognize that we have changed the consent state. So we're going to create a new tag and we'll name it consent granted. We'll be selecting again the template tag we've uploaded from Google, but this time we'll set it to update command and grant all the storage settings. And this tag will be fired when we click on the Accept Cookies button. The next thing we have to do is create a cookie to save a piece of data of the browser, saying that the user has already accepted our privacy policy, so the banner is not displayed on future page views. We'll create a new tag and name it Save Consent First Party Cookie. This would be a custom HTML tag, and I'll go ahead and paste the code from the polycookies file called cookies-consent.js. The cookie will be saved on the browser until it's deleted by the user or until it expires after a period of 90 days. The name of the cookie will be consent accepted, and the value will be true. In this case, don't forget to check the box for supporting the document.write. And we'll set it to fire with our trigger of clicked on accept cookies. The following task would be to create a new trigger for the new page views a user has after they have accepted our privacy policy. So we'll create a new trigger and name it page views with previously accepted cookies. The type of trigger will be a page view and it will fire only on some page views, with a condition of consent accepted equals true. Now that we're on the final stretch, we'll make a rule for the cookies banner to not appear on new page views after the user has clicked on the accept button. So we're going to edit the trigger of our cookies model tag to add the exception of page views with previously accepted cookies. By now, we have pretty much finished working on the functionality of our cookies consent model. But we still have two major steps left, which are adding the CSS styles and editing the Google Analytics tag in Google Tag Manager. First, we'll add the cookies.css file to our website by copying this line of code and adding it to the head of our website. However, if you're using a CMS or content management system like WordPress, Squarespace, or Wix, you might not be able to upload files to your server so easily. In that case, you can copy the code from the cookies for CMS file and add it to your cookies model tag on Google Tag Manager above the previous HTML code. Otherwise, if you're working on your own custom website, we'll go ahead and continue by linking the cookies.css file to our website's head. On the right side window, we can see the source files we've downloaded from Polycookies. And on the left window, we can see our web project folder. So we'll add the CSS file to the corresponding folder, as well as the images for the thumbs up icon. And now we're going to make sure the path of our file is correct. So in this case, it's libs/css/cookies.css. And in this case, we can see that the images are on different paths relative to the CSS file. So we're gonna have to fix that real quick. In our projects folder, the images are found 2 directories back, and then inside the images folder. And we have to repeat the same path in all 4 instances where the thumbs up images are called. Lastly, at the end of our CSS file, we can find that we can customize the fonts that are used for the text on the cookies model, which in this case should be Biotiff Medium. And on the last couple of lines, we can find that we can change the color of our accept button and the underline stroke for the privacy policy link. In this case, we're gonna use the same light blue color as in the logo of our website. The files are now ready to be saved, and be sure you're saving all the files and uploading them to your server correctly. One last detail is that at this time, we can choose whether we want the light theme of our cookies model or, if we prefer, the dark theme. By default, if we don't define a class, the banner will appear with the light theme. Otherwise, we can change that on the HTML of the cookies model on Google Tag Manager by adding the class dark-theme to the div element with the cookies model ID. Now we are ready to submit our changes on the Google Tag Manager container. I have also just uploaded the corresponding files to my server off screen, so we're just gonna go ahead and refresh the site, making sure that we empty the cache first. And there we go. There's our cookies consent banner. And we can see that it's a completely responsive design, working well for desktop screens as well as mobile phones. We're almost finished. We're now on the second to last step, which would be editing all the tags from Google Tag Manager that track our users' behavior and use cookies like Google Analytics, Hotjar, or Facebook Pixel, so they're not activated until the user clicks on the Accept button, or whenever the user has a new page view after having clicked on the Accept button previously. In this case, Google Analytics is the only tracking code that we have in our website. So what we have to do is change the trigger for Google Analytics, or for any other tracking code that you might have. So the trigger should now be set for clicked on accept cookies plus page views with previously accepted cookies. Let's save that, and that should be it. So let's submit our changes to our container, and it's done. The final step involves testing the functionality to make sure that everything works as expected. Let's go back to our site and open the DevTools and check if there are any cookies that are still saved from our website. If you do see any cookies saved on your browser, I suggest that you select them and delete them at this point. However, in my case there aren't any active cookies, so we can go ahead and continue by emptying the cache and performing a hard reload. Let's open the DevTools again, and there shouldn't be any cookies being saved by our browser. Let's check what happens when we click the reject button. Still no cookies, so that's good. And the model should reappear once we refresh or perform new page views on our site. Now, let's check what happens when the user clicks on accept. And we can see that our first party cookie called consent accepted is saved on the browser with a value of true, and Google Analytics has been activated. So we're gonna refresh, and the cookies model should not appear this time. And we can see on the DevTools that the correct cookies are still there with the desired expiration date of 90 days from now. And that would be it. Congratulations! We've completed our cookies consent model. Thank you for watching. You can help us by liking and sharing this video, and if you're able, sending a small donation to support privacy protection. Every cent counts. Thank you, and until next time.